For the sake of example and melted tires, we've decided to start the show by looking at the behavior of a conventional sports car.
And this is... this is what it's like to drive a car without rear tires. They've been turned into a puddle of rubber, and I'm driving through my own smoke. And it's a laugh riot. I mean, it's so conventional. I got a big V8 up front with a supercharger. I got rear wheel drive. I push the pedal. It goes sideways around corners, makes all kind of noise. And I've got these ridiculous carbon ceramic brakes which help push the price of the car to $117,000. That's not cheap, but man, it makes you smile. Now, that said, it also, uses gasoline like it's going out of style. It's so much fun. It's also obnoxious and completely wasteful, but do we care?
Turns out BMW cares, and they've come up with a wild-looking solution. We're now cruising in the BMW i8 under full battery power. But what I'm going to do though is I'm going to put the stick over to the left, which will put it into sport mode, which will fire up the 1.5 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder that's sitting behind my head. But why are we testing a 3-cylinder car on our figure 8? Reason being is this. This thing cooks! I'm in a hybrid. I'm in the next evolution of the Prius, and it is so fun to throw around the figure 8. I got the traction control off. I'm getting awesome rotation. It digs out of corners because it's all-wheel drive. It sounds really good. It's fake, but who cares? Listen to it. It's awesome. And it's a little 3-cylinder. Who doesn't love 3-cylinders? I mean, this thing is ridiculous. Look at that. Slides around. Now, it's not quite as explosive, obnoxious, rowdy as the Jaguar. But man, are you a professional drifter? Because if you're not, you don't care. This thing is awesome. And also, the peak system output is 357 horsepower. The Jag makes 550. Yes, the name i8, okay, yes, it's an iPhone, iPod, Apple ripoff, but let's just assume instead of internet that the I stands for innovation, because there's some radical thinking going on with this car. What is so innovative about this car is how light it is. It's primarily composed of carbon fiber. Not the fancy hand-laid expensive stuff, but kind of the very ugly injection molded stuff. But who cares? It's lighter than steel and stronger than aluminum. It's actually lighter than aluminum too. This car weighs 3,300 pounds. That's about the same as a 911 Carrera S. It's about 100 pounds less than a Corvette Stingray. And that's one of the reasons why you get the performance of those two sports car icons. In fact, this outperforms BMW's own M6. It's incredible. As we learned on the Figure 8, this car is sweet. It just handles so well. When you have a chassis that is so stiff, it's almost infinite benefits for the steering. It just makes the car steer better because nothing is flexing. The other thing is, this car not only handles well, but it rides incredibly. Reason why? Well, you have so much stiffness here, you don't need to put a lot of stiffness into the shocks. So the shocks are relatively soft, but you have this stiff tub, and the whole thing works together so well. You wouldn't know it maybe, and you wouldn't think it, but what a sports car. What's crazy to me is that the front axle is being powered, the rear axles are being powered, but they're not mechanically linked, so you have this computer that's doing all the work. So, the typical naysayers, oh, you can't turn everything off, it's a computer doing all the driving. Thank God, but look how it drives. I mean, this thing is incredible. We've got to talk about the i8's radical design. Now, not to brag, but I've driven Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces, Bentleys, Bugattis, Maseratis, even a couple of Paganis, and no car on earth gets the reaction this thing does. It's just visceral when people see it. And I love how bold it is, how adventurous BMW was for putting this on the road. Do I think it's particularly good looking? Not really. There are some good angles. The front, for instance, I love how low and how wide it is, and especially if you're driving another car and you catch it in your rearview mirror, it just looks imposing. It's got that classic BMW shark face, like a E24 6 Series. Totally cool. Then, of course, there's these wild doors. They're made of carbon fiber with a lightweight aluminum skin, and they weigh absolutely nothing. And man, you show up anywhere with these, makes a big splash. Word of caution though, let's say you're parked and another car pulls in right about here, you've got a real problem because then you can't get out of your own car or get into it. Hot tip, make sure you go to the end of the parking lot and park away from other people.